Hi friends, how good are you at saying how you really feel, even when that's rather awkward? Yesterday I recorded another interview for my series on conversations that change everything. This one was with the Los Angeles-based coach, Nikki Armytage, and she talked about exactly that, and about what miracles can happen when we are honest for a change. I hope you enjoy what she has to say, and I hope it might inspire you to have even better conversations yourself. So I've got these mugs, and I've just talked about them, and unfortunately I didn't send you one on time. However, what I thought we could do is maybe I could ask you a couple of things, imagining that I've drained my cup of tea, and I can just ask you any conversations in the past that these refer to, and just whatever comes up. And then I wanted to ask you a little bit about a conversation you remember that was very important, for any reason, good or bad, exciting, sad, whatever, anything.
Okay.
And you said you've thought of some, so we'll just see what happens.
Yes.
Brilliant. So I'm draining my drink, and I'm seeing, so I'm going to try and be really random. I'm seeing the word friendship.
Friendship.
What's that about for you in conversation?
Well, I had a really good conversation with a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and she's just got pregnant. I've just got married, and a lot of the time I've just moved to LA as well. And so building up a whole new community over here in LA takes a lot of work, and I don't have many friends at the moment. But I spoke to a really good friend, and just the conversation with her, just the level of honesty that we both had, and we both shared where we're at, and we got quite real with each other and said how difficult it was in both of our situations. And we weren't just like, oh yeah, our life's amazing, how about you? You know, we just really sort of went, just got real. And I think having good friends and good conversation with those friends is just so healing. And it's such a kind thing to do, and being really honest with that person, and trusting that they've got you, and they don't really, I mean, this friend in particular, I know she doesn't judge me, and she just loves me, you know.
So if you look back on it, if you could sort of review the film of that conversation with that friend, and you talk about honesty or sort of being real and things, was there up to a point where you weren't particularly, it's not like you were being fake or anything, you weren't particularly, and then you were?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the beginning, it's almost like we're both so busy. It's like, oh, hi, how you doing? You know, and it was just this kind of like on the surface conversation. And as soon as I said, actually, I'm feeling quite lonely in LA, and I'm, you know, and I think she just almost, I don't know, something in her changed. And I think it was my just being really honest and truthful about where I was at. And I think then she opened the door for her to get honest and truthful with where she was at.
It's really amazing, because actually just hearing you say those words, how lonely, I can't remember, I'll get it wrong now, but it was something like how lonely I am or can be in LA.
Yeah.
Suddenly I was thinking, oh no, oh dear, and I've got to sort of help, like what can I do? Just because you were being suddenly really straight. And it's not like you were very mournful, or you didn't sort of have to burst into tears or anything, but you seemed to be being very honest when you said it.
Yeah. But what I really appreciated about this conversation I had with her was she didn't really go into the fixing role. She just sort of held the space for me just to be with where I was at. She didn't say, oh God, right, we need to, like, I'm coming over. It wasn't panic. It was just, oh, I hear you and I understand, and that must be difficult. What do you need?
Oh, so this was a phone call or something?
This was a phone call, yeah.
Oh, wow. I assumed from the way you talked about it, and that this came up because of friendship and things, I thought you were hanging out together at last in, you know, a chance to have some kind of heart-to-heart, but it wasn't that.
No, it was a call, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Was it a call about something else, or just a sort of phone because you missed them? Or
It was just a call to, she came to my wedding. We hadn't spoken since then. It was just a check-in call, but then it was just like all was revealed.
Brilliant. Big smile. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Thank you. I really hope that anyone listening to this will be thinking of the times when they could have done that, or where they might now still want to do that, or who have they not phoned since some big landmark thing in their life.
Yeah.
And what was it like for you just to discuss that with me just now? What's that?
It makes me realize that just the honesty in friendship is so important, and you don't and I don't necessarily need to put on a performance and like everything's fine. Like having honest conversations where someone really listens to you is it's such a kind thing to do. And it's such a helpful thing to do, I think, for the other person. And I think that it's just reminded me to I do have some really lovely friends, and to reach out at them at this time. I don't need to be alone.
Great.
Yeah.
You say this with so much bright assurance, even though talking about things like loneliness and stuff, that one might get the impression that you've always been good at this. Is that right?
No, 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 no. I haven't. I've always wanted to. I think growing up, I've always wanted to sort of act like I've got my shit together.
Yeah.
You know, I could swear on this, but anyway, and because I'm a coach as well, it's like it's almost like I should have everything together. I should, you know. And so when I speak to people, it's like, yeah, I'm great, yeah, and it's just this keeping up appearances thing. And I used to before getting really honest with people, I kept it all to myself. And then I used to struggle with my eating. I had an eating disorder for a long time. I never really knew how to be honest with people, so I just sort of found other ways to cope, and it wasn't healthy, and it wasn't helpful for me. And so yeah, no, it's something I've learned quite recently.
Wow, brilliant! Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like this has been such a lovely thing already, and I'm conscious that you've been thinking about other conversations that were important. Can you think of one now?
I mean, when you asked me this question earlier, and you said one conversation that's been important to me, the conversation I had with my first coach that I had 5 years ago, and I hadn't ever didn't even know what coaching was. I knew I was interested, and someone said go and see a life coach, and I remember sitting down with her, and this was when I was all kind of I'd never had any honest conversations in my life, really, apart from when I was really drunk, and then hopefully the person wouldn't remember the next day. So I remember going to have a conversation with this coach. I didn't know what coach he was, and she said to me, you know, are you happy? And she said, this is a safe space. You can say what you want. I won't judge you. Just, this is like the time for you to get really honest. And I just broke down in tears. And I don't think I stopped crying for about half an hour, but it felt so good. It felt, at the beginning, it felt embarrassing, but then it felt so good that I could just really ask myself important questions like, am I happy? And, you know, what do you want? And I'd never really asked myself these questions before. So I think that conversation for me, it just allowed me to go a little bit deeper with myself and be honest in a place that didn't feel like someone else had a vested interest in me. She just wanted to listen. So that was a really important conversation for me.
How would you summarize how you changed just as a result of that conversation?
I think it was like I felt a lot of tension, and I was almost embarrassed about how I felt. And I think just saying it out loud just sort of melted away some of the embarrassment. I was like, oh, it's out there now. It felt it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. But it just felt good to release it. So I felt more yeah, I just felt like it was a weight off my shoulders just to say stuff I'd been feeling.
It sounds so free.
Yeah, totally, totally. And you know, John Paul, like now I think part of my values in life is really just honesty. Honesty, like, because it's so freeing.
Mm.
And that's why I love really honest conversations where yeah, that there's no, you can, there's like, I think there's a few things in conversations that I really value, which are like really listening to that person, no judgment, just being curious and open. And I really thrive in conversations like that. And I can see when I have conversations and I listen to the other person without judgment, I can see them thriving too. Like something unlocks, you know.
So if there's sort of freedom and there's a lot of empowerment and sort of general kind of flourishing all going on at once.
Yeah.
But having been in that space where it was really difficult and like, I can't say that thing, you must now, because you've said you work as a coach, you must see the pain that people have when they're struggling with, I can't say that.
Yeah. So, and I love what you're doing with this project of yours, because it's so important. And I think, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but there's so many walls thinking we can't be honest, or people won't listen to us, or people would judge us, or there's no time, and oh, I look like I'm a failure, and I think so many people have it, and that's why I think, yeah, just having a movement or starting sort of really positive conversations, like, you know, it's just so important for people. And I think, you know, being out here in LA, like, or just being at home a lot, or just being, everything's on social media now, just we don't get as many opportunities to have these real conversations with people. So I'm all for it.
Well, I enjoyed that. If you enjoyed it too, please subscribe, and why not leave a comment below, or a question if you have one, or just tell me about a time when you have successfully managed to be honest in a conversation. Till next time, bye.